Hello and welcome back to the Limit of Adhesion's Endurance League. We're here at Interlagos. My name's Mark and joining me in the commentary booth is Steve. How you doing, Steve?
I'm fantastic, Mark, and vindo, Brasil, to all those that are around that sort of area that race with us in Brazil. It's fantastic here in Interlagos, and I'm looking forward to this one, Mark. It's a fantastic track, and I think there's going to be a lot of action and a lot of high speed overtaking, and I'm looking forward to this one. Yes, definitely.
I'm very much looking forward to it too, and I'm looking forward to hearing some more of that foreign language. Was that German, Steve? Or French?
Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. That's the only thing I know. I've learnt it especially for today. So no, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. I hope I didn't butcher it though.
Well, if Steve did butcher it, then drop us a like and leave us a comment down below.
I'm sure Joe will let us know if we did all right. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Okay, so you saw the point scoring systems flash up there, and let's go through the grid. We've got Meren Hugavin from Tuamala and Rob Miller and Stephen Maxwell on the front two rows of the grid. Followed by João Tome, Don Parker, Kelly and Hill on the next two rows. Chris Forrester, Gareth Winslade and Lewis McManaman. 11 cars on the GTP grid for this race.
So we'll take you through the GT3 grid here. Pole position goes to Joshua Martinez, followed by Ollie Ettridge, Oliver Walker and Jack Haynes. Third row is Jay Pratt, followed by Mark Kelly. Good result there for Mark. Paolo Tempera and Ben Chalcraft. Ninth position is James Pepper, followed by Carl Hudson, Kenneth Olive and David Lechatelier. 13th place is Fabio Oliveira, Clayton Buller, John Cook and Steve Pepper in 16th place. 17th is Rich Meesters, followed by David Ward, Zach Leopold and Matthew Hansel. And without a name, the man with no name is Sam Stott. Welcome on board, Sam Stott. It's nice to see you racing in that lovely little Audi.
There's a few names on the grid that are old LOA regulars, but we've not seen in a while. Especially Ollie Walker and Sam Stott, they've not been on the grid too much recently, so yeah, nice to see you guys back on the grid.
You see the GT3s are leaving a big gap between them and themselves and the GTPs, which is good to see.
I was just about to touch on that, Steve. Yeah, GT3s leaving a nice big gap. Don't want to get caught up with any of the GTP cars that maybe struggle to get off the line quite as quickly.
Can I just say the replay monkeys have been fed and watered and they're ready to go.
Brilliant. Have you sorted out the pay dispute, Steve? I know they were striking due to non-payment last time.
They were. I said no and they said okay.
Just watch out, they might unionise next.
I couldn't quite understand what he said nuts for.
I need to remember, we're trying to keep this a PG video, so I'm going to stop that line of thought. Oh dear. Right, safety car has started to peel off and we'll head into the pits. We've got Meren Hugavin from Tuamala, the two teammates of the Wizards team, will lead us to the green flag. And the GT3, Martinez and Ettridge will lead us to green. And it looks like Martinez has gone already in the GT3 field, and Hugavin has put the pedal to the metal for the GTPs. As we see Hugavin uncontested into the first corner, he's got a brilliant start, as has Martinez actually for the GT3s. It looks like Ettridge going to be under a little bit of pressure from Walker there in the replay in the bottom left of your screen. Meanwhile, Malarin's had an excellent first couple of corners, and he's checked out alongside his teammate Hugavin up front.
Yeah, made a big break for it there.
So we see a couple of positions switching. Parker's got ahead of Tomei, as we see now with the GT3 field. So we see that's a Pepper pulling to the inside. That's James Pepper on the inside of... that's Paolo Tempera. Can't quite keep the speed up though, and Tempera will keep that position.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how James Pepper does in this race, because he's just been, he's recovering from the dreaded COVID, so we'll see how far he gets into the race.
Indeed, yeah, he certainly looks like he's having a bit of a racy start, as we see number 63 going a little bit wide.
Oh, one round to the back.
There was.
I think that was Matthew Hansel.
That could have been the car that we saw going very wide. Meanwhile, we've had a couple of sort of hot little incidents in the GTPs. In the bottom, that is Gareth Winslade, and I think
Dan Hill.
Dan Hill is the other driver involved in that. Thankfully, oh, and there's a spin in the GT3 field. Replay. Meanwhile, we are back to live pictures. Live pictures only. Paolo Tempera there, still defending from Pepper. Meanwhile, we've got a couple of llamas there ahead of a camel. Rather unfortunately, we don't get to say that too often. There's llamas in front of camels. Camels, of course, obviously being the superior team. As we see David Ward pull out, try and get an overtake done on first Steve Pepper, who then loses out to his teammate Rich. But looked like David Ward was also trying a move on John Cook as well.
Pepper's fought back
Pepper
really well
now straight back against Ward to claim another position. Mises there to try hugging the inside line to get ahead of Liebold, and oh, that's Ward has spun. Mustang obviously putting through too many ponies to the rear wheels and spinning round and round. So a bit of action in the first couple of laps then. Meanwhile, up the front, it's still no change. The GTP field, we've still got, well, Malarin's now got ahead of Hugavin, but both of those got a bit of a gap from the next nearest. And in fact, to say that, Hugavin's got back past. Or has he? Timing screens can't make their mind up. As we see Pepper still right on the back of Tempera, who is in turn right on the back of Mark Kelly.
Replay in the bottom corner was just, my apologies, Mark, the replay in the corner just showing that the incident there, and unfortunately it looked like Ward had his rear wing knocked off by Rich Mises as he came through when he was rolling backwards. So that would be a trip to the pits.
Well, unfortunately. So Tempera now still defending from Pepper, who wasn't able to get past Kelly. Kelly starting to drop back slightly from Jack Haynes. It's still a long race, still got just over an hour and 20 minutes to go. We're only on the third lap. Meanwhile, the top two in the GTPs that had broken away slightly are now falling back into the clutches of Rob Miller. Malarin is now ahead of Hugavin. They were fighting for sort of a good chunk of the last lap, but Hugavin's now fallen back in line. So we have a new race leader. in Malarin. And it looks like all that fighting has dropped them back towards Rob Miller and Stephen Maxwell. Bit of a gap back to Don Parker. And quite a significant gap after that back to Kelly.
That looks as though it had been a bit of a misjudgment and a bit of a sideswipe there, taking Mark Kelly to the outside of the track.
This is unfortunate for Mark after very good qualifying in first couple of laps.
Yeah, unfortunate that.
And that's also allowed Pepper to get ahead of Tempera. In fact, there he is. Pepper in the blue Mercedes, the cool camel colours. Tempera in the Ferrari behind. We'll see if Pepper can now make a bit of a break for it. He looked very racy in the first couple of laps. So we'll see, was that just slipstream or was that genuine raw pace? We will see over the next couple of laps. Tempera now, though, right in the slipstream, but he's got Ben Chalcraft right behind him for company. So we'll see. Tempera taking a slightly defensive line, forcing Chalcraft around the outside, but Chalcraft thinks better of it. Nope, not close enough now. Steve Pepper, meanwhile, right behind Clayton Buller, again in the slipstream. As we see this fight for what is now 6th position after Mark Kelly's unfortunate half spin. Tempera tucked right up behind Pepper. Will he pull out to overtake into turn 4? No, he's not close enough. We will watch that battle.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see on this track as well, Mark. With it being such a small or a smaller track, being an F1 style track, the obviously the GTPs are lapping so much quicker than the GT3s, and they're obviously catching the pack so much quicker rather than at LeMans where they were all spaced out. It's going to be interesting to see how the GTP drivers cope with coming up on the slower class and just use a little bit of common sense when passing them.
So we've seen Rich Meesters has already been lapped, but he was involved in that incident earlier. But we can see that the leading GTPs are now starting to make their way through the back end of the GT3 field. As we can see on screen now. That was first Malarin and now Hugavin getting past Matthew Hansel. Rob Miller also making his way past and will have gotten a brilliant exit. And he's really closing in on Hugavin. Will he go for a dive into turn 1? He's maybe not quite close enough. He's going to think about it, but probably think better of it. And in fact, Hugavin did actually get quite a bit of a nice slipstream from Malarin there.
Yeah, I think Rob will have a bit too far behind then to make the move.
So now this is where it's going to get tricky. We see Hugavin with the flash of the lights there. And Pepper pulls out to overtake Clayton Buller. He's unfortunately going to get in the way of Rob Miller there, but not an awful lot Rob Miller can do about it. Certainly nothing that Steve's done wrong. He's entitled to fight for position. Steve Maxwell manages to get past that battle.
And I think Steve Pepper used the confusion there caused by the lead cars coming through to take full advantage, and it looks as though he's challenging who's in front of him. Kenneth Olive, is that?
That is Kenneth Olive. You're right, Steve. And yeah, it looks like Clayton Buller's going to lose a place again to Sam Stott now. So Pepper's got past Olive in that. Can Stott take advantage as well as Pepper runs very wide? Stott on the inside, Olive on the outside, and Stott with the inside line but with a slightly compromised run through there. Will Olive be able to get the slipstream from someone? There's enough cars around at this point. Yeah, looks like Stott's got that move done, but will he keep it into turn 1? So we see Miller and Maxwell. Maxwell now caught right up to the back of Miller. And, oh, there's cars everywhere! Surely Maxwell's going to go for it. not quite close enough. As we can see just behind Pepper not being able to break away from Tempera, like we were wondering. Oh, that was a dramatic couple of, well, a few corners really.
No, yeah, action everywhere.
So as things start to maybe settle down, we see things certainly aren't settling down up the front with Malarin just ahead of Hugavin. Hugavin gets forced wide by, I think that was Walker. Walker obviously in the GT3s, not the GTP field. Now I think at this stage, Steve, it's worth pointing out that we are racing to multi-class blue flag rules. We're not racing to F1 rules.
That's very
so
true.
Yeah, if you see a blue flag, you are not obligated to get out of the way.
Sorry about that.
There is obviously there's a sort of gentleman's agreement, and I think it is in the limit of Adhesion's rules that you shouldn't be taking the mickey. As we see, there's Pepper into the back of Tomei. Tomei getting turn one all wrong, and we'll have to see it. Charlecraft's front wing did fly off there, but it managed to reattach itself very well. I think maybe the stewards are going to have a look and see if he's got magnets implanted into the front of his car.
That did look as though it was like a concertina effect where Zhao unfortunately had either braked extremely heavily or tried to avoid the rear of the other car in front, and obviously James Pepper was with the brakes on the GT3, he's not quite as good as the GTPs, as just slightly made contact with the rear of that car, and it's all concertinaed from there.
Exactly. Now, going back to our discussion on the blue flags. So, if you're a GT3 driver and you get the blue flags, you're still allowed to fight for position. You don't have to dive out of the way dramatically. The rules do say that you shouldn't be impeding the faster traffic or sort of making their life overly difficult. But as we see, there's a big crash in the back. That is Zach Liebold and Sam Stott, I think, were the two cars involved. Sam Stott now driving the wrong way down the track. That wasn't Sam Stott at all. No. There's Sam Stott.
Yeah, it was Matthew Hansel again.
Is it Matthew Hansel?
I think so.
You are absolutely right.
There you
go. Black Mustang.
And I'm not sure whether that was Dan Hill or who's his teammate?
Who is his teammate?
Lewis.
Lewis
is it Lewis McMahon? Yes, I think it is Lewis McMahon.
As we see, there's two very good looking cars there. That's Jay Pratt and Jack Haynes, matching Porsches.
As we've said before, Mark, these guys really put some effort into the deliveries for the cars, so it's a testament to how the cars look on track. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it is lovely to have such a wonderful multicoloured grid. I think. Go on, Steve, what's your favourite car livery?
Ooh, now you're talking. Completely an unbiased opinion. To be honest with you, I don't have a favourite. I really don't have a favourite, and that is including my own liveries that I do for the cars as well. I think the guys do a fantastic job, and it adds to the colour and the entertainment. And without them putting so much effort in towards them, it'd make our lives completely impossible. If we had or white cars, black cars, or whatever they were, it would be impossible to identify them. So the effort that these lads put in, hours and hours to make these liveries and dreaming up different combinations and things like that, is just superb.
Yeah, I think I'm not going to toe the political line like you. I am going to say that I do have some favourites. I have to admit, I love green cars, so the cubed guys, Dan Hill and Lewis McMahon, they're their GTP does look very nice. I do like that. And also, don't tell them I said this, but I do actually really like the Formula Lava cars.
Yeah, a lot of entertainment on those. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Oh, an incident there in the replay. It looked like Sam Stott.
That is Paolo Tampere and Sam Stott.
That's a heavy hit. There'll be damage to both those cars.
That is a heavy hit, and we can see that was Tampere there, driving a little slower than he was. So we'll see how badly that damage has affected him. As we see, oh, there's my favourite looking car. Unfortunately pointing the wrong way. Looked to only be a little half spin there for Lewis McManaman. I'm sure he'll have very limited damage, if any. More likely just for his pride. So we are approaching a third of the way through this race. As we see, who's that? That's Kenneth Olive just diving to the inside of Tampere. So yeah, definitely looks like Tampere's lost a bit of pace. Damage doesn't look too bad on the back of his Ferrari. But yeah, just considering that he had such a brilliant first sort of opening 10 laps. It's very unfortunate. Looks like he's lost a little bit of pace. Kenneth Olive going a little bit wide there.
I think it'll probably be for Paolo, it'll be unfortunate because it'll be aero damage at the front of that car. It looks as though, from the replay, it did look as though he'd just slightly outbraked himself or missed the braking spot. And unfortunately, at those sort of speeds at the end of that straight, once you've done that, you're an absolute passenger. And unfortunately for Sam, there was actually nothing he could do. He wasn't expecting it, and unfortunately, the damage on the back of the car. Obviously we've got a fast repair, so you can put the car right in the next pit stop. But unfortunately, it's one of those things where you get hit on the back of the front, and aero damage takes a little bit of speed off your car, and you start to go backwards slightly.
Yes, it is unfortunate, but unfortunately that's racing.
Fortunately, it don't last very long, and you put it back together again.
Indeed. So, Steve, talk to me about the strategy that these guys are going to be aiming for. Are we going to see a sort of a fairly typical, maybe 2-stop race for these guys, or what's the tyre wear like? Do you think some of these guys are going to be forced into a 3-stopper?
I don't think so. I think it's fairly much with it being an F1 track. I think the tyre wear situation's fairly much stable. They'll all know sort of like what sort of laps they're going to. So they'll all have an idea of where they can get to through the lap. But I would suggest it's probably I'd suggest it's probably a 2.5 stop. They might have a splash and dash at the end, maybe for the GTPs, but certainly GT3s, they'll be looking at 2 stops with a shorter fill at the end.
That was a lot of debris on the track as you finished talking there, Steve. Not sure.
I think that was netcode. I think that was a connection issue, and the car bounces back onto the track, and that's where you get that. It's almost like springs and bolts and all sorts of stuff flying about.
Fair enough. I was going to say, I'm looking at the track map and the standings board, and no driver seems to be too sort of off the pace. So
no. That's why I think it was connection issue rather than
no major damage. Yeah,
that's it.
So we've got sort of a couple of different battles forming in the GT3 field. At least we've got this battle right here, this sort of, what was it, 12, 13 or so onwards. You've got the leading sort of 5 drivers that are all relatively close to each other. Pepper's in a bit of a fight with Chalcraft and Le Chatelier. thankfully the field's not spread out too much.
Well, like you say, with it being an F1 track and it's slightly smaller rather than an endurance track such as LeMans or certainly Spa, you get this bunching and there's more of a fight. The cars are closer together. The drivers are certainly more adept. They all know this track, and I think I love these tracks. I think it makes for much better racing rather than driving around the track on your own. It's much better to be driving in a group like this and fighting for things. So more entertaining and certainly more entertaining for us and the viewers as well.
I would certainly agree to that. Hugovin's pitted.
He has.
So that's promoted Rob Miller up to second. Maxwell was not able to find a way past. He does remain just 1.1 seconds behind, but yeah, the big news is that Hugovin has entered the pits, and it feels like that's very early for that to be a scheduled stop.
I wonder if that was tactical. I wonder if he's short-fueled for the first stint.
It's possible. But
Or does he think he can undercut?
Oh, who was that round? Was that Kelly round? I think hopefully we'll get a replay. But yeah, I think certainly the optimal strategy is to start the race with a full tank of fuel. Because any fuel that you start the race with is fuel that you don't need to be adding when you're sat stationary in the pit lane.
That's correct, yeah.
So I find it highly unlikely that Hugovin had short fueled. It's possible that he still had a full tank of fuel and decided to come in anyway, maybe to get out of lap traffic. Maybe he spotted a nice clean bit of track. As we see, there's the replay. Kelly and Olive, and yeah, that's Kelly on the inside, sorry. And unfortunately made contact and decided that he will take up a career in breakdancing and do some pirouettes.
That was close. That was a Code
That
Brown
was
moment
close.
on there. It must have been Tomalari coming around the corner there.
It was. Thankfully, Kelly very switched on there and smashed that brake pedal. Like, you should be smashing that like button.
Like
Look
and
at that.
subscribe.
I'm almost a pro at this.
Did you notice though, I did say viewers, I didn't say viewer. There's two of them.
Oh, someone's joined my mum. I joke, of course. My mum doesn't watch these videos. So, also into the pits, Chilmalaren.
An incident there.
So yeah, this is a very,
There's no need for that.
very strange strategy there, as we see Maxwell now getting past Rob Miller momentarily, and Miller straight back ahead. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what was going on with these two wizards, both pitting unusually early.
That was
Lewis
that was
McManaman
unfortunate.
and Chris White. Chris Forrester.
Yeah.
Chris.
That would explain the voices in chat there, just explaining, what that he'd lost contact, and obviously Chris Forrester not particularly happy with the dive down the inside. And this battle's still raging on as well, which is good.
How can you make your car so thin?
So we've got Pepper now still ahead of Le Chatelier and Ben Chalcraft. Le Chatelier, in all of this, has managed to get ahead of Chalcraft. Let's see what happened there. Le Chatelier just dives to the inside slightly. Just sort of puts his nose to the inside. Just shows that he's there. Meanwhile, the two wizards pitting early has promoted Parker up to third, behind Maxwell and Miller. tell you what, Steve, I'm taking a look at the gaps since they came in, and Malaran and Hugavin are losing time slightly to Miller. Miller could be about to perform the overcut.
That'd be interesting. Because I still say that what Malaran and Hugavin have done is tactical. Because they both come in on 14 and 16 laps, and the rest are getting 17, 18, 19 laps in a tank. I still say that's tactical.
I think it's definitely... Well, there's definitely a reason for it. I just don't know what that reason is. I think you could be right. It could be tactical. Alternatively, it could be that they've sustained damage and want to pit early to use their fast repair and get the damage fixed. But I find it very strange that both of them would have incidents sort of within 2 laps of each other that we didn't pick up on camera and that didn't cause an awful lot of damage because they've not dropped right down the order.
No. It'd be interesting to see how they climb up the table and ladder as the rest in front start to pit stops.
Well, Rob Miller is extending the gap, so he has gained about 2 seconds or so. But of course, with Malaran and Hugavin pitting early, they won't have had a full pit stop. So they'll have had a shorter pit stop because they physically can't fit that much fuel in the car. So I think it's going to be hard for Miller to do an overcut at this first stop, simply because he's got to fill up with more fuel. But I think certainly in the long game, at their second pit stop, Miller will have to fill up a lot less, and that's, I think, where he's going to take the advantage. Meanwhile, we've still got this gaggle of cars down in the lower end of the points. So we've got Liebold, Cook and Buller, and that's Kenneth Olive behind Buller after his incident with Mark Kelly earlier on in the race that we saw a replay of. Cook is now ahead of Clayton. I'm not quite sure when that happened, but I do remember Clayton leading that duo for the first sort of third of the race. And as we see on board with Gio Malarin, who has managed to get past Gareth Winslade. That is very important.
Is that Kenneth Oliver spin there? Just off the back of that group.
Indeed. This is Ettridge and that's Winslade in the GTP getting past. Walker not been able to challenge Ettridge for second place in the GT3s, but he is keeping him honest. He's staying right there as we see a replay of that spin for Kenneth Olive in the bottom left. Replay monkeys really earning their nuts this race.
At least they're not chewing them.
Painful. So, just over half an hour into this race. So we'll probably see the majority of the field pitting in the next few laps. Le Chatelier now really starting to look quite racy, tucked up behind Pepper. Pepper, Le Chatelier and Chalcraft. There's quite a big gap now between them and the top 5. That top 5 has really broken away, just sort of in a league of their own for this race. And as we see downhill, the flash of the lights, down to the inside, getting around the GT3s. And that is to begin lap 22.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the fact that Rob Miller's done, Rob Miller's on his 22nd lap, and like I say, Malaren and Hugavin have stopped so early. Gavin Kelly did as well. He stopped lap 16. So I just have a feeling that there's something in there that they've taken a quick stop, an early stop, to try and get track position.
Could well be. Well, we will see how it unfolds. Malaren is now starting to close the gap slightly back to Miller, as is Hugavin actually, now that they've both gone past Winslade. That gap between Miller and Malaren was 36 seconds after Malaren pitted. It did go up as high as 40 seconds. You can see Malaren is now bringing that gap down. Like I said, we'll see how the positions are after Miller and Maxwell's first pit stop. Because, yeah, we can't count Maxwell out of this one. Yeah, there is Miller on screen trying to get past Lewis McMahon. Maxwell just behind him. 0.3 seconds as they cross the line. And Maxwell with an epic toe. Thinks about having a look. Not quite able to make it, and still Miller cannot get past McManaman.
That was close as well, because Stephen Maxwell had to be very careful before running to the back of Rob Miller there.
And there we see McManaman just leading off the gas, moving over to the side, letting the leaders through. Ettridge is having a brilliant race there in second, as the leading, not the leading GTPs, but the leading class, the GTPs, make their way through.
Oliver Walker's very close to Ollie Ettridge as well. He's not letting him get away from him at the moment.
Keeping that slipstream. Oliver Walker was previous GT3 series champion.
Looks like Martinez is in the pits. He's dropped to fourth.
Is he in the pits? He is in the pits. Yeah, you're right. I'll quickly check the track map. So yeah, Martinez and Pratt are both in the pits. That promotes Le Chatelier. Pepper's dropped back about 6 seconds from Le Chatelier, so I'm not sure if he's had a little sort of off-track moment or a little half spin, as we see Cook pulling to the outside of Oliveira and dives straight to the pits, as does Sam Stott. We're starting to approach that pit window now. Still Miller and Maxwell able to go further. I think, let's be honest, the one person who we all know will be able to go the longest is most likely Don Parker. the
original
fuel
wizard
saving.
Little Coast. Didn't he do 1,000 laps of Bathurst on one tank or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Some effort. Fantastic. Oh, looks like a rush of cars coming up the pits there.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say. Give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and Don Parker will still be able to use it to do an extra 3 laps or something. I don't know.
A true Yorkshireman.
The guy works miracles.
Exactly.
And, yeah, we were just joking, but yeah, of course it's only gone and flipping done it. Miller and Maxwell both peel off into the pits while Parker goes for the extra lap. Of course he does. So, meanwhile, Martinez, Ettridge and Walker have now also made their stops. So as they come back out, Walker's managed to really close that gap down, just 0.4 of a second now, but wasn't able to use pit stop strategy to get past, but we've still got another, 50 minutes of this race left. Certainly not over.
Both Malarin and Hugavin have moved up to second and third there on track, and they're about 4 or 5 seconds in front of Rob Miller now.
So yeah, so Rob Miller's now dropped about 10 seconds back from the net race leader, Malarin. But I think crucially, that gap didn't really come down since the pit stop, so that is pretty much purely because Rob Miller stopped for longer. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the last stint as we see... Oh, that's Ettridge spinning.
That looked like contact.
I was just about to say, I didn't see any contact, but it looked like the sort of movement that you would get if there was contact. So I'm wondering if there was a bit of net code or something in there.
It looked like
Maybe.
rear to front fenders, or rings, or whatever you want to call them.
Maybe if we throw a few peanuts at the monkeys and wait a few minutes, we might see a replay. Oh, that's Winslade locking up the brakes slightly. So that spin has put Ettridge down to 5th, released Oliver Walker into 2nd. So we'll see if Ollie Walker now can go and chase down Martinez for the win.
And that was Marion Hugavin coming into the going out the pits there. So obviously he's damaged car. So it looks like he's used his fast repair there to get the car sorted. Which, if his original stop for fuel was tactical, that sort of like blows that tactical part out of water, really.
So yeah, that's dropped him down to 14th. Meanwhile, this battle between Clayton Buller and John Cook, that still rages on. I saw there briefly Clayton Buller now ahead again of John Cook.
Lead Llama.
Lead Llama indeed. Walker... Hang on, Walker's dropped back behind Jack Haynes. Why did that happen? So yeah, Walker's had an incident somewhere as well, because he was only sort of 4 seconds back from Martinez, so he's lost a couple of seconds there and lost 2nd place to Jack Haynes.
Yeah, because it was Oliver Ettridge that had the incident with Merrin, wasn't it? With Hugavin.
Yeah, so Oliver Walker maybe showing some sympathy for his fellow Ollie, as fellow Ollie Mr. Ettridge dives to the inside of Jay Pratt. Can he get the move done? He's sticking around the outside. He's got his car mostly ahead, and that is the move done, as we see just in the background. Meanwhile, these two, Gavin Kelly just ahead of Zhao Tome. Tome is only 0.4 behind, and yeah, now they've got this nice big long run up in the final corners. Down across the line. Looks like Kelly has done enough this lap to stay ahead. And And yeah, we're approaching half distance in this race.
So very quick at the moment.
So McLaren now getting past Sam Stott in the GT3. Sam does like his Audi.
He does.
There's not many Audis on the grid. Apart from the race leader, obviously, Josh Martinez.
He's really making it work. 5.5 seconds clear now, so yeah, he's really pulled out the stops and he's moved away from Jack Haynes and Oliver Walker.
Yeah, but not too many Audis on the grid. There's a lot of Porsches, actually.
Yeah,
There's
the Porsches are very, the Porsches are very, very popular with the GT3 drivers. A little bit close was that?
That was a little bit too close for comfort. Yeah.
Taking his line there, and Gareth just having to back out of it.
I think it's certainly a brown flag moment for Winslade. And credit where credit is due, Le Chatelier has looked like the faster driver out of these two, but Pepper been absolutely brilliant in his defence.
Yeah, like I say, he's struggling with recovering from an illness as well, so that's not helped him at all with the preparation and what he's for the race.
Yeah, but still, Pepper there showing brilliant racecraft, able to keep Le Chatelier behind. As we approach sort of the mid-race lull, where things are sort of starting to calm down a little bit. Cars are spreading out. Pepper will breathe a sigh of relief as Forrester just gets in between himself and Le Chatelier and gives him a bit of breathing room, which Le Chatelier very quickly breathes up and is breathing right back down the neck of Mr. Pepper. James there soaking up the pressure really well.
Yeah, he's back in his comfort zone there in the Mercedes GT3. A bit of a scary moment there for John Cook as Kelly and with it behind him, was it Xiao Tome there just trying to get past one on either side.
Yeah. And here we have some Kelly on Kelly action. Mark Kelly on the inside in the GT3, Gavin Kelly in the GTP. No surprise, but the Kelly in the GTP goes a little bit faster than the Kelly in the GT3.
Just a little bit.
But the Kelly in the GTP is now going to have to defend from the not a Kelly in the not a GT3. Tome in the slipstream, right up close to Gavin Kelly. We won't see what happened there. But it doesn't look like Tome was close enough. So yeah, so now they've pitted. Miller... Well, Miller's actually brought that gap down slightly. Maybe it's the advantage of fresher tyres, I'm not sure. Yeah, when he came out of the pits, he was, 11, 12 seconds behind McLaren. And he's brought that back down to 8 seconds. And we know he should have a shorter pit stop to finish the race. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a very exciting end to the race. As we see, who was that? Was that Kenneth Olive in the grass?
Yes, it looked like it. Unfortunately for Kenneth, he's having a bit of a bit of a bad middle stint, really.
Yeah, it's not his best, unfortunately. So here we go again. Kelly versus Tomei. Once again, and yeah, again it looks like Tomei's not quite close enough.
Steve Pepper just hugging that inside line there to stay out of the way of the two fighting GTPs.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is get involved with two fighting GTPs. So 40 minutes of this race left. So yeah, we've got to start watching for the final pit stops with about 10 minutes to go then, do you reckon? 15, 20 minutes maybe?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes maybe.
Apart from Don Parker, who's probably already done his final pit stop.
I'd love to see that. That'd be some achievement.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him. If anyone on the grid can do it, it's Mr. Parker.
Rob Miller's got that gap down to just under 6.5 seconds now, so he's really putting the hammer down and taking the fight to Tomalari.
Oh, we've got Pepper
that's
in the
one way of
pits.
getting out of the way.
Yeah, we've got Pepper in the pit lane. Didn't see what happened. That's early, but he can go to the end from here.
I have a funny feeling that may be a pit and stop for Pepper.
He has been in there a while, yeah.
Yeah, I think unfortunately the recovery from his illness and what have you, I think he's taken its toll, and the young lad is unfortunately he's had to give up, I think. So I wish James all the best and a speedy recovery, ready for next time.
That is unfortunate, but yeah, health comes first.
Very much.
If we watch that battle for the lead, as we've just seen Ballard go through a bit of traffic. And yeah, okay, Rob Miller will have that traffic coming up. But Miller's bringing that gap down. It's now down to under 7 seconds.
It seems to be ebbing and flowing at the moment. It's down to 6.2, then it's up to 7.6. So there is a little bit of a ebb and flow as obviously the track, as the car's on track at different places. So it'll be interesting to see if he actually can close it down further.
As you see, Mark Kelly now has attached himself to Sam Stott's rear wing. He's homing in on his target. And I was just about to say, will we see a move down into turn 4? No, we certainly will not, because that is, in fact, turn 1. Maybe we can watch the standings board and we can confirm. Oh, here we go. No, we did not see an overtake into turn 4. Kelly, though, so close to starting. He's going for the move. And we shall wait with bated breath.
We just cut away at the wrong point there. That's Paolo Tempera coming back out of the pits.
Right, Oliver Walker's now dropping down to 5th. What's gone on with Oliver Walker? in this second stint. He came out of the pits just a couple of seconds behind Martinez. And yeah, he's dropping right back now. His gap's up to 16 seconds.
Just
Oh, that's
point of it's a bit of a...
Hugavin. It's a little mini half spin. Well done to him though for saving that.
Who was that Matthew Hansel on the inside? Because he took really evasive action there and ended up on the grass.
I think it could have been, yeah.
As I was going to say, a point of interest there. I've just seen on the leaderboard that Chris White is showing us out and not actually starting the race. For anybody that knows, then Chris actually registered for the race in a Porsche, but clicked GT3 rather than GTP. So unfortunately, Chris has been exempted from this race and wasn't able to take place or take part in the race. But obviously, he'll be back in the next one.
It's a bit of a disaster. That's very unfortunate. Clicking the wrong button. Easily done. We've all been there, I'm sure.
Oh yes. Mistakes happen all the time, so you just got to get on with it, get over with it, and back on track.
Indeed.
Oh,
that's downhill off.
Well, that's one way of obeying team orders and letting your teammate past you.
Yeah, maybe he's going for a camouflage look, hiding in the grass.
Oh dear. Those green cars, you see, that's what it is.
Yeah, honestly, he'd have a bright green car. So Hugavin, after his spin, has recovered just behind that Tomei Kelly battle, which Tomei is now winning. So we'll see if Hugavin is able to get back past. Almost boxed in by the GT3 of that's Jack Haynes in second after the various incidents that have befallen Ettridge, Pratt and Walker.
Well, that's Rich Meisters there. We've not seen Rich for some time since he had the knock at the beginning of the race and the Mustang.
Yeah,
there, so.
I was going to say he had that incident at the start, but he must have been in more incidents since then, surely. That we've just not seen.
A very quiet race. Yeah.
Oh, that Sam stopped backwards and collected by. Is that Dan Hill again, or was that Lewis McDonald?
Yeah, I think that was Dan Hill. It looks as though Sam's regaining position on track there on the grass.
You know what it is? I think he was mad at Dan Hill for hitting him, so he's gone searching for him in the grass.
There we go. Sam
so there's a replay. Yeah, he did the right thing by holding his brakes, but just, unfortunately unsighted.
It's a heavy hit that as well, so damage to both cars.
In fact, it looks like both of the cubed cars are in the pits. So, we are approaching the 1 hour mark, so Steve, why don't you just give us sort of a brief recap of the race so far?
Yeah, I mean, from the off, it's been Joe Malari and Mary Hugavin that have set the pace, and obviously Joshua Martinez, along with Oliver Ettridge and Raleigh Walker, setting the pace in GT3s. And then pit stops, two nice early pit stops there from Hugavin and Malarin, setting up what would be the overcut to gain time on Rob Miller. But unfortunately for Merrin Hugavin, he had a bit of an incident, and it's dropped him down. He's had to take another pit stop, and it's dropped him down now to 7th, as we see him there just passing Mark Kelly. Oh, there's an incident again. That looks as though there was once again that back collecting the GT3 front and spins him around. Oh, it's so unfortunate because there's no need for that. There's no need for that. Just give him an extra foot of space, and it won't happen. A little bit of an understeer moment from Mark Kelly, but once again, like I say, GTP driver, give him an extra yard of space, and it won't happen. But that's multi-class racing.
Yeah, from the first camera angle, it looked very much like the GTP had turned in and just taken the front end off of Kelly, but actually that second angle looked like Kelly had drifted wide a little bit. But I'm sure the matter will get referred to the stewards.
I'm sure it will, but once again, like I say, it doesn't take much just to give that extra little bit of space. There's plenty of downforce and what have you on those GTP cars. And just gives that extra little bit of space for, experience. All these drivers are experienced. They should know there's a temptation, or there's going to be a slight worry that GT3 is going to understeer slightly through that corner. But just give them an extra bit of space.
Meanwhile, as we see in the background there, Fabio Oliveira and Paolo Tempera, both sister cars riding on track together. We see Malara now attempt to put a lap down on Gareth Winslade. And that Oliver Walker getting in the middle of them. Oh, that was like the Spa. Oh, you know the one I mean, the famous Spa overtake.
Yes. Yeah, it's squeaky bum time when you got two of those coming down the outside and the inside of you.
Yeah. Yes.
At least nobody had an incident or accident.
Yes. Malara managed to put a lap on Winslade in all of that. So he's got a few more GT3s to pass, but then it's a nice clear bit of road.
Tourmalari this time has gone 25 laps on a tank of fuel.
So yeah, I'm sure it was... Yeah, it must have been some sort of tactical decision then. But either way, it means that he'll probably be pulling into the pits this lap, surely.
Yeah, be very close to it, I would think so.
Maybe he can pull a Parker and go the extra lap. And having said that, it looks like he has.
Yeah, he's on 26 now, so... Oh, that looks like Gareth Winslade
backwards.
Yes. Oh, that's unfortunate.
It is. We can see Miller has now brought that gap back down. It was up at sort of 9 point something a couple of laps ago. As we see what happened there, that's Ettridge. Yeah, Ettridge into the back of Winslade.
Yeah, going around that corner, it doesn't take much for that tiny little touch just to send the car around. So fingers crossed he's not getting too much damage, and certainly rolling back like that as we see another replay around for a different corner. Yeah, hopefully, like I say, he won't have much damage, and rolling back into the barriers doesn't help as well. So fingers crossed there's not too much damage there for Gareth.
So Miller now bringing the gap down significantly, 6.4 seconds. And yeah, this I mean, I think we can assume that Malarin will be boxing this lap. And as I say that, I see that he has in fact boxed this lap. So that will give Miller the lead. And the key question is, how long will this pit stop be for both Malarin and Miller? So we'll wait and see how long Malarin's in the pits for. Looks like he's still stationary, so yeah, this is a fairly long stop, and he is moving once again. So yeah, that puts him 35 seconds off the back of Rob Miller, and to put it into perspective, before their previous pit stops, he was only 28 seconds, I think, behind Rob Miller. So, yeah, I think Miller's definitely got a good chance here of performing the overcut. We can expect Miller in about 7 laps' time.
Yeah, I think Rob went 25 laps last time, so if he can get the extra lap, he will do. So obviously he's looking at next like 7 or 8 laps.
Hugavin down to 9th because he's just made a pit stop. Again, only did 14 laps on that stint. Maybe someone forgot to tell him that... Yeah, I think maybe someone just forgot to tell him that he can tell his pit crew to fill the tank.
I'm speechless.
So,
a little look up there from Rob.
Yep, our new race leader. So yeah, these are the crucial laps. These next 6 or 7 laps from Miller. Let's watch the time gap to Malarin. Malarin's currently 35 seconds back. We'll see how much, if any, time he loses. Meanwhile, Dan Hill has been in the pits for a while after that incident with Sam Stott, so I think he must have used his fast repair earlier on in the race. So, not sure if we're going to see him back out on track, unfortunately. Meanwhile, his teammate is being lapped by Don Parker. Don Parker on the 19th lap of his stint, just about to get past Ollie Ettridge.
That's flash of lights there from Ollie. Not impressed with the dive down the inside by Lewis, I don't think.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got Maxwell getting past Winslade. Winslade obliges, makes that nice and easy for Maxwell. And Maxwell's dropped quite a way off the back of Miller. Maxwell looked like he was properly challenging Miller through the first stint.
Yeah, since that pit stop, he's really taken a back off. Whether he had a poor pit stop, maybe he had coming out of the pit stop, or he's got stuck in traffic. Who knows? But obviously he has dropped off, and it's a bit of a shame there because he was really challenging Rob for the win here.
Yeah, but I think the win now. Challenge is definitely between Miller and Malarin. You see McLaren's actually lost a bit of time to Miller there. And that's cold tyres getting them up to temperature. Meanwhile, Kelly has arrived at the back of that's Oliveira. Parker around the outside of Cook and then Liebold. Oh, that's Parker round.
Yeah.
That was Parker.
Done Parker there. That's a spinner.
Maybe those rather extreme fuel-saving strats. As we see Mark Kelly go to the inside there of Oliveira. Yeah, we can see in the replay Parker went to the inside of that's Zach Liebold and just locked the rears and unfortunately lost it under braking. Very uncharacteristic error there from Parker.
Very much, yeah. And we're getting very close to the top end of the GT3s making their final stop of the race.
So I think we can expect them in any minute now. Oh, that's a very tight gap.
Threading the needle. Wow. Oh.
Blimey. So, yeah, I think leading GT3's Josh Martinez. I think we expect him into the pits this lap.
Watch around the street.
Where is he? He is just going through the final corner now.
I'm pitting, so I'm staying inside. Picking up that.
I have to pit. Just keep going.
And there we have confirmation that both Liebold and Martinez are pitting.
It's good communication.
That is brilliant communication. I think especially at this track. Yeah, because it's one of those weird ones where the pit entry... I suppose if you brake, you're probably off the circuit by the time you need to start braking. But I know that there are some tracks, like Watkins Glen springs to mind, where it can be so tricky if you've got a car right behind you. Because you have to take the final corner quite a bit slower and you're on the apex. So it's so easy for people to come and smack into the back of you.
Yeah, and it's quite a short run into the pits at Watkins, isn't it? Whereas this is nice and long.
Yeah.
You don't really start braking until you're way past the barrier. I suppose the only thing that really would complicate things here is you've got a GTP that's pitting at the same time as a GT3 and there's a massive difference in speed and braking ability.
What we're doing there.
Yeah, you're right there. So yeah, the gap between Miller and McLaren has extended up to 38 seconds. We expect Miller to be coming into the pits probably next lap. Slightly caught behind Walker through the final turn. He's released onto the backstretch. Yeah, there is Maxwell, quite some distance behind after that stint. So yeah, an absolutely mega stint there by Miller. GT3 class, we've had a change of position. I think that was just through pit stops. So yeah, Martinez is pitted, as we saw. Haynes and Ettridge have pitted. That leaves Ollie Walker promoted up to first momentarily. He is due a pit stop, most likely this lap. Also pitting this lap is likely to be Miller and Maxwell. So yeah, this is crucial. We'll see whether he drops behind Malari. You know, he only needs 15 minutes of fuel, so I don't think that's going to take 37 seconds.
No, I can't see it taking 37 seconds. Depends whether he takes tyres. The tyres were the longest flight for. Obviously, depends how much he's got, but it takes a bit longer for the tyres on a short fuel stack.
Yeah, but surely with 15 minutes left, you'd go out on used set tyres. It's not worth changing for 15 minutes. I'm sure it's just going to be a quick splash and dash. Having said that, Miller's still in the pits. He's leaving now. And where is Malarin? Malarin's just coming through turn 2 now. So yeah, looks like Miller's done enough to retain the lead ahead of Malarin. Yep, there's Malarin at the top of the screen. There's Miller going into turn 4 now. Miller, of course, will have cold tyres, cold brakes, and Malarin will have nice and toasty everything. But yeah, that's 3 seconds Miller's jumped him by. I don't think warm tyres is going to be enough.
That's Meester's
that,
round.
as we see Meester's spinning.
Once again, was that a touch from the GTP or was that net code?
I think it might have been a touch. Meester's another car joining the let's camouflage in the grass trick. And in fact, it could well have worked because I saw some tyre tracks leading to nothing.
And it just
couldn't see a car. Yeah.
So Joshua Martin is now ahead of the GT3s. He's moved back into first place.
Yeah, his lead's come down quite significantly though. Meanwhile, Parker's got Tomei right behind him. So yeah, Tomei's pulled quite a bit of a gap on Kelly. They were fighting not too long ago. So yeah, a great stint there by Tomei.
Yeah, he's done really well to get that gap down. Closing 12 minutes.
We'll see if Tomei can get past Parker and fight for fourth. We'll see if Malarin can catch back up to Miller. He's clearly faster than Miller. Past couple of laps have both been quicker. He's been closing the gap, but I don't think it's going to be quick enough. He was 2/10 faster that lap. About half a second the lap before. They've only got, what, maybe 7 or 8 laps left? If that.
Yeah, there can't be that many. Steve Pepper's been in the pits. Noticed he
what's
did
happened
a
to
very
Steve?
slow lap there. Yeah, I think I've heard he's changed drivers. He's had to have a driver swap. Michael Fish is in the driving seat. He's demanded wet tyres. Does Michael Fish know something that the rest of the drivers do not know?
That's certainly a puzzling call. I think we're going to have to trust Michael Fish on that one.
I very much doubt it.
Yeah, I think
dear.
Steve will most definitely be kicking himself for listening to Michael Fish there, because that has handed the lead of the inter-animal race to Clayton Buller.
Yeah, you can see there's just no grip from the tyres, so he'll be straight into the pits this time to rectify that unfortunate mistake.
I would have thought so, and I'll tell you what, I think those replay monkeys that have been paid, I think we know where their pay has come from. Steve's obviously not been paying his mechanics.
That's it. This sticks you up, stuck wets on. Nuts to you, fella. Yeah, as we see Steve Pepper just dart in the pits there again.
So Maren Hugavin has been in the pits yet again. So that's a total of 5 stints. Maybe you realised early on that he couldn't win the race to do most laps in the least amount of time, so he decided he'll do the most pit stops. And I'll tell you what, just scanning through the rest of the field, it looks like he is winning that race.
To be honest with you, I think he's got a Ferrari pit crew, a pit box. We're on plan D. No, we're not. We're on plan F. No, we're not. We're on plan Z.
We're checking.
Tom Alarin is quicker than you.
So we're just under 10 minutes left. Malarin really absolutely obliterating those lap times now. Got the gap down, was briefly under 2 seconds, as Tomei decided that tarmac's not good enough, he wants to use the grass as well.
Do you think that's home circuit advantage pulling in there?
Could well be.
Another Oliver Ettridge sandwich there.
Indeed. And oh, they make contact.
Ooh, touch
Tomei
there. Whoa.
almost loses it. He did so well to hang on to it. As Hugavin goes through the grass.
That could have been such a bad accident there.
I saw that.
That could have been.
Maybe it is starting to rain.
Could well be. That would also explain why Malarin's able to go 1.1 seconds quicker than Miller that lap.
He's really closing down now. Less than a second between them, so he'll be right in that slipstream as well.
And Miller's not exactly hanging around. He's built the gap up to Maxwell in third, up to 23 seconds.
Yeah.
And the gap to Parker and Tomei is up to 45 seconds. Like this top two, Miller and Malarin, have just stormed away from the rest of the field in these past, in the second couple of stints.
Yeah, they've been a class above in this last couple of stints. There's not many that could have touched them here.
Right, turn 4, round 2. Will Tomei go for the move? Thinks better of it. as we approach the end of the race now. And in fact, Malaren's managed to get past Miller.
He has.
No idea how that happened. In fact, yeah, it would have been down in the run to turn 4.
Yeah, I think he's had the slipstream and then the double slipstream down the next one. And he closed right the way down.
So yeah, hats off to Malaren. That was.
Yeah, go on, son.
I thought Miller had got it done when he came out the pits in the lead.
I'm just wondering if he hasn't swapped tyres when his tyres have gone off.
Possibly.
Because there was a little wiggle as he came out of that corner there, as if he was really struggling to get the power down.
Oh, we'll see if he's got any rubber left on the run down to turn 1. And it looks like he's dropping back even further.
Yeah, 24.5, so he's over a second slower there than Malaren.
That battle has come to a slightly anticlimactic end, with Malaren seemingly able to absolutely breeze past. He's looking down the rest of the field. We've got the Parker and Tomei battle that we're watching on screen now. That appears to be the closest fight in the rest of the field.
Yeah, it seems to have spread out a little bit at the moment, doesn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, Malaren's got that gap up to over a second. He's broken the toe. Yeah, I think that you could be right about the tyres, Steve. It could be that if Miller didn't swap his tyres, that maybe they're a little past their best, but I think it was still definitely the right call to keep those tyres. So yeah, had he changed those tyres, I think he would have had a much longer stop. And I don't think he'd have come out of the pits ahead of Malaren in the first place.
Possibly not, but I mean, you look, he's half a second slower there and losing time all the time. So personally, I would probably have gone for new tyres and tried to take the position back, knowing that Malaren had older tyres. But obviously you got the roll of the dice, and unfortunately for this time for Rob, he's not quite come off.
But then again, we've still got another couple of laps. It's certainly not over yet. As we see a replay, what's happened with that is Lewis. Yeah. Oh, that's a heavy hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not nice to watch.
Oh, we get to see it again. Yeah, there's nothing they can do. Complete passenger.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame.
That's a very high-speed corner as well to go off there. He's flat out, and obviously he's got the touch from the GT3 as he goes past the end of it, and it just turns him around. It's once again a complete passenger.
Yeah. So, approaching the end, this could well be the final lap of the race that these guys won. Maybe one more.
I'm going to say maybe one more.
We're just trying to find where the leaders are on track. They're just coming up to Sao now.
I've no doubt that when the leader goes across the line for the last time, it'll be lights flashing and all singing, all dancing, I would think.
I would have thought so, yeah. So yeah, as we watch Clayton Buller trying not to get lapped by Ettridge. Ettridge just has a little look. He thinks better of it. So yeah, I think we are approaching the final lap.
I think
no.
so.
Yeah, but just looking around, I don't think that either of these guys are fighting anyone for position anyway, so... As we see this battle between Parker and Tomei still going on. Tomei does have the inside line. Oh, Parker nearly gets collected, and in fact does get collected by a GT3, and that collects Winsley behind. And
dear me.
Yep, Parker's got wheel damage, I think. Yep, he's out.
3 very broken cars there. I don't think there was very much that Gareth Winslade could do about that.
Definitely not.
As we see a replay here. You just can't second guess where that GT3 is going. It's weaving all over the place, having been contact with Don Parker, and that's obviously all 3 cars absolutely wrecked.
Yeah, it's a huge shame for those 3.
Yeah, especially so close. If it's not next week, but it's the last lap of the race, and such a shame. Do so much so well, and then all of a sudden it's taken away like that. It's very, very disappointing.
Talking about doing well, Miller is right on the back of Malarin. He got that gap down to under half a second, but I don't think he's going to have enough time or space to be able to do anything with it. As Malarin now brakes for the final corner, he'll get the power down. He's a little bit impeded by David Le Chatelier, but I don't think that's going to impede him enough. And as he comes across the start-finish line for the final time, Chio Malarin wins at Interlagos.
Yeah, well done there, Tor. Nice victory. We're just waiting for GT3s to cross the line there with Joshua Martinez.
So yeah, there we have confirmation of Josh Martinez winning in the GT3 class.
Congratulations, great win. A really great race.
Yeah, definitely a lot of action there.
Yeah,
good
plenty
to have
with
that.
these smaller tracks.
Yeah, and good to have that fight for the lead go right down to the wire. So as we see race results in the GTP class, we got Malarin from Miller from Maxwell, an all M's podium in the GTP field. And Malarin there also getting fastest lap and the points that go with it.
The GT3s there, obviously Joshua Martinez taking the win on fastest lap with Jack Haynes, Ollie Ettridge, Jay Pratt and 5th Oliver Walker, with Ben Chalcroft, Carl Hudson, David Chatelier and Clayton Buller. And then obviously further down 13th with Paolo Tempera, Steve Pepper 14th, Rich Meesters, Fabio Oliveira and Matthew Ansell, Sam Stock and James Pepper bringing up last.
So as we look at the standings in the GTP field, Look at that at the top. Can't get much closer than that. Hugavin, 1 point ahead of Malarin. Maxwell.
Single point.
Yeah, Maxwell still in contention. About 50 points back. As we look at, we had 23 drivers that have been involved so far, and yeah, we're at the halfway stage now, but we've got 3 drop rounds, so yeah, any one of those drivers could still be in with a shot. As we look at the team standings, it's no surprise their drivers are 1 and 2 in the championship, but Wizards Black Saphire way out in front, with the other 2 Wizards teams in 2nd and 3rd. It's an all Wizards top 3.
Moving on to the GT3 Championships. The drivers' standings are Ben Crook out front with 189 points, and Oliver Estridge being second with 132, followed closely by Jay Pratt and Joshua Martinez. Jack Haynes, Oliver Walker, Ben Chalkcroft, Carl Hudson, Clayton Buller, Rich Meesters, and bring up 10th with Nathan Alul, David Ward, David Le Chatelier, Mike Murphy, followed then by in 15th John Cook, Danny Cham, Graham Barsley, Philip Miles, Stephen Greening, Matthew Hansel, Paolo Tempera, James Pepper and Steve Pepper down in 22nd and 23rd, Mark Kelly, Merrick Kishker, Zach Leopold, Simon Norton, Fabio Oliveira, and then further down to the end we've got Kenneth Olive, Ryan Tazewski, Charlie Langridge, Mark Innes, Tyler Graff and Sam Stott. On to the teams for GT3s. Oh, teams haven't arrived.
Doesn't matter, we can give you an update on the Team Championship next time. There on the screen are links to our socials, our website, our Discord. Come and say hello if you want to come and have a chat or come racing with us. You're more than welcome. Other than that, my name's been Mark, joining me has been Steve. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure, as per normal, and join us next time for round 6, which is at Fuji International Speedway. So we'll all be saying konnichiwa and eating plenty of rice and strange things that are not cooked. All right, everybody, take care. It's been a pleasure. Thanks very much. Good night.
Good night.